right, you guys, welcome to the next round that we have here for Halfway to Halloween. I have some amazing women here to sit and have a round table with, and I'm really excited to bring them in. So let's start with Melissa Laroue.
Hi, everyone.
And then we're going to have Comika Hart come on in. And then, did I say it wrong? I said it wrong, didn't I?
No, it's Comika Hartford.
Hartford. Oh my goodness, yeah.
You got the Hart name right. That's the awesome part. So awesome.
And that's not the basic part, right? So here we also welcome Lilith Fury.
Hi.
And we have coming in when it lets me click on it. We have Michelle. Wait, why is it? What is it doing? No, it's not. There we go. Michelle Nessk coming in and joining us. And then we were supposed to have Alice Wright with us, but Alice isn't feeling good. So Alice, we send you warm wishes and hope that you get better soon. So ladies, how are you?
Good.
Great.
Yeah. All right. So does anybody have any new projects that they want to talk about before we start getting into all the other stuff?
I'd love to hear about Michelle's project because it's amazing. And I was able to see the short that the feature was based on at the Sacramento Horror Fest, and it was amazing. So.
Thank you, Comika. So Tanya Atomic and I made a found footage film. It was my second venture into making found footage. My first being O Unilateralis. And we made 333 Illuminati. It was so much fun. We filmed it at a sex hotel in Las Vegas during its off season at Medusa Underground Film Festival. And we had the full participation of the film festival. And they helped us make it happen. And the entire project was basically, we had a rule where it was one shot, one take, one chance. And we wouldn't get to go back to it. And we were filming it in real world immersion. And we were really lucky to get Deborah Lamb involved and Hex, otherwise known as Glitter Macabre. And so we released the short version for a charity blood drive event. And the full feature version is coming out soon, and we are so excited about it because we had so much fun making it. You know, everyone keeps on asking what happened, and so we're, like, how did the story get to where it takes you to? And admittedly, it's not going to take you answer any more questions, but it will pose more questions. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what happened.
Definitely excited. I mean, with the blood drive portion of it, I know for me, I was sharing so much for it, and I'm so excited for it to see the final project. I know you've worked so hard on it, and this being, I've seen a lot of your other stuff, so I just know it's going to just even be greater than what you've already done. So I'm so stoked on it.
Thank you.
It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited.
I love you.
I love you too.
Also, it's really exciting when you see a filmmaker make a short, and it's like, ooh, that was some shit right there. And then they get the support to make the feature. Like, those are always the best projects because everyone was intrigued by the kernel. So you want to see the tree because you know that they got it. You're like, oh, that's going to be some shit. So I love when that happens because that's how you get the best films. Like it's thought out, the concept, the mystery. Like those things in a script and in a project don't happen by accident. As a screenwriter, I know. And I have fucking people that to help me and give me the coverage, like to build those twists. Like I don't write great scripts by myself. If I didn't have readers and assistants, I wouldn't be able to cover it. So when I see someone start with an amazing scene or an amazing short film, that has that mystery, that has that everything that we love about horror, where it hooks you in, and you're like, no, it can't be over. That shit needs to be when that happens, right?
You're like, I want more, and then you're like, I'm gonna give you more.
Oh, yeah. I was inspired by Three Extremes, dumplings.
Oh, the chance.
It's that's what I was inspired by, of like releasing the short version, and then if people like it enough, then releasing the full feature. So I love that movie. Dumplings is so good.
Oh, she's such an amazing filmmaker. I didn't expect that. That was, yeah, Fruit Chan, man. She is not messing around.
No, it is not. Oh, that final shot.
Right?
Good.
So, ladies, what was your inspiration to pursue horror, get into all things horror as part of your career choice?
For me, it was, I actually lived in a converted funeral home growing up. They're down in the basement. My parents tried telling me that, oh, it used to be a florist shop, and that's why there's these weird refrigerators and shower things. And I'm like, yeah, everybody tells me this is the death house, so I'm pretty sure you guys are lying to me. And
pretty sure this is the fucking death house.
My bedroom was the viewing room. And like had random friends at school like show me pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, the little desk I draw on is where the sign-in papers would be. And it was kind of weird. And I would also stay up super late. So one of my punishments was, oh, if you're going to stay up late, you have to watch horror movies. And after a while, I just started liking them. And I didn't want anyone to know, because it's like, oh no, don't punish me. Don't make me watch this awesome movie with Bruce Campbell again.
Yeah, let me get the popcorn. I'm traumatized.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no.
Reanimator, I've got some chocolate. I'm ready for my punishment.
Exactly. So like,
that's awesome.
Pretty much came into my life like around age maybe 6, I think, and it's just ever since then, it's just, I love horror, and I put it in every single part of my life, and just I can't imagine life without it.
For me, I was actually afraid of horror films. My family tormented me at a very young age, and then I turn that around to be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to let you do that. But I also grew up in East LA. I'm 35, and my mom would always talk, and we'd always have the TV on, and I was always researching serial killers. So at a very young age, watching all the publicity on all of the current, Dahmer and everything. And I just was fascinated. And someone gave me a book about serial killers. And so then it became a huge obsession. And so now I am not only in like horror, so I also started late in doing horror stuff. I was in the Marines for 8 years. Active duty. So I saw the horror of the real world and in Afghanistan and in deployment. And when I came back, I wanted to turn that scary stuff into something I like, and to make it, and as far as like with my modeling, and horror modeling, to turn that and to make something beautiful out of something horrific that I've already seen. And then as far as acting, I just, I love it. I wouldn't say I'm like, super great star on it. I'm very heavily tattooed, so I'm typecasted. But, I'm always grateful for being in anything. The last thing I shot was a Nicolas Cage movie. And I don't know when it's going to come out or what the title is because it was so secretive, but they just kept moving me closer and closer just because of the way I look. And I end up just showing up the way I look. So it's kind of nice to be like, oh yeah, you're good. No hair, no makeup, no wardrobe. Just get in there. And then yep. And now I'm still like podcast and trying to I work with a lot of conventions. How I met quite a few people and why I'm on here. So just love it. And my moniker is the creepy queen. So that's just it. Just a weirdo.
Michelle, how about you?
Well, let's see here. Primarily, I would say my influences are Canadian late night television, Canadian Saturday and Sunday matinee television. I snuck up late one night and it was a double feature of Red-Blooded American Girl and Sister of Ursula. And then the next night it was Cemetery Man. And there was so much boobs. And I'm sorry, but it's true. That's what happened. And it was magnificent. And before that, when I lived in Texas, my uncle would host these parties where they'd watch horror movies and listen to music like, like Shout at the Devil and stuff like that. And I would dress up as Elvira. He would even make sure I had oranges, oranges. And, oops, you saw nothing. And, I would horror host, and I had my imaginary friend, and her name was Ven, and my horror host persona, I'm a horror host is one of my jobs for Horrors of the PNW, and her name is Z Monster, and she's pretty much I can't think right now. I've had so much Red Bull. I'm so sorry. She's basically a physical embodiment of my imaginary friend. And so yeah, it's if anything, I would say like one of the biggest influences for me getting so immersed into horror would be Barbara Magnolfi. Just ultimately, every time I saw her in anything, I was enthralled. The first script I ever wrote, I wrote her in mind, which was titled Mother's Day Cigarras. And we ended up actually filming that with Barbara, and that's, soon to be released. And the short version was released on Horrors of the PNW. So it's everything that drew me into horror surrounds me in real time, and it makes me so happy. Okay.
Pardon.
I have just to say that I'm older than everyone here. When I was a kid, we didn't have cable, so I would sit up on Saturday morning and watch the old vampire movies with like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and basically I've had a crush on Vincent Price since I could turn on TV, and used to have to go up and turn it. And I was kind of too young to have a sexual identity, so I would kind of pretend to be Rod Serling or Vincent Price and introduce the horror story. And I didn't really even know that was a job.
Yeah.
No idea that was going to translate into later wanting to create these stories. I'd have to say that the thing that let me know I was hooked is similar to what you just said, where I got to stay up late at a family member's house that had cable, and Alien came on. And I was like, because there was the female protagonist who was smart, who was savvy. Of course, I had an instant crush on her. And
yes, thank you.
Right? How is that not your first crush?
I was trying not to interrupt you and ask you if maybe that was the thing, because she's so hot. She's so shiny.
Oh, So shiny, so shiny. But yeah, that let me know I was hooked and that I liked that aesthetic. And I also knew that it wasn't appropriate as a girl to be that way. So I had to kind of sort of hide it. I knew it made my parents nervous because they were hippies and very peaceable. And I didn't want to scare them, but it was like, no, this is the drama of it. And I think Vincent Price actually said it best, that he loved being the prince of the macabre because he was taking the unreal and making it real. And if you can do that even for a second, you're magic. So that's how I came to it. And I know that for a lot of people, what they think is that it's just wallowing in unhappiness. And I'm like, well, why don't you watch a few really good horror movies? They're like, well, all horror movies are terrible. I'm like, that's like saying all dramas are terrible because you watched Lifetime for a few hours and had to see some crappy fucking movies. You don't get to judge a whole genre by some. Have you ever seen some of the really crappy dramas out there? I gave birth to my stepdad's stepson and now we're on a farm. What, bitch? But yeah, that's a drama. But when we think of drama, it's all Sophie's Choice. It's like stepmom, stepson, that's a drama too, bitches. So don't tell me that horror is a lower genre.
Well, also, like, horror isn't that bad, I mean, compared to stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I like when with horror, there are set rules. If someone's going to die, they did something wrong. They're not just going around killing innocent people the majority of the time. And like in dramas, they make you care about the person first and then kill them.
Yes.
They're like, you see this relationship, you see how much they love each other. Cancer.
Yeah. Seriously.
Now, for me, I started
hit by a car.
Terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I started late. So I had always kind of piddled and watched a little bit of horror movies here and there. And it wasn't until I met my husband, who is a haunt creator, owns a haunt, creates it, all of that. I had trauma with a clown when I was a child. So that kind of carried through my life. It's actually people think it's a pretty great story. It's still pretty traumatic. I'll get into that in a second. And I met my husband, and my husband was like, when we first started dating, he's like, you have to walk through my haunted house and you have to survive in order for us to go on our date. And I got halfway through to my husband's room and I'm bawling, sobbing in the corner. Oh, and I get past it because one of his best friends is yelling at me to keep going. And I get to the end and it's a clown who's chasing me with a chainsaw. And I think I was going to have a heart attack. And he was like, okay, you made it. He's like, we can start dating now. And
bitch, I have a chainsaw, start running. Oh my God.
And
mad now.
That was 7 years ago. And now we're married and we have a kid and we still run our haunt and we do all these podcasts with Jimmy and we hang out and do all the sinister stuff and we do our all of our horror movies and now it's my whole world. So definitely changed that. But for me, I was scarred away from it. Like Lilith, you grew up with it and so you embraced it and just kind of went with it. At my 5th birthday party, my parents hired a clown for mine and my best friend's birthday. And they, 80s out there drinking their margaritas on the back porch. The kids were all in with Billy Bob the Clown or whatever his name was. And
I'm already scared. I'm already terrified. Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing balloon animals and he blows up the balloon and it pops and lodges in his throat. And he starts crying and screaming and makeup's running down his face. And my best friend and I are sitting in the front row. And he's like, he falls on us and dies.
No, that happened.
Oh my God.
Oh
so
my
God. Balloons popping and clowns, I'm out. Even to this day, as a grown woman, nope.
Wow.
So, and then my husband is a big HHN fan. So, we go to the horror nights and we go do all these events and there's always a fucking clown. Never fails. Clowns and monkeys. I don't know why, but at haunt events, the monkeys, fuck the monkeys. Yeah.
Right.
Always with the symbols and they always come out of nowhere. So I went away from it. I didn't go to it. I was like, I'm out. This is never going to be my thing. I don't have any desire to be around this. have never seen it, have never seen
Shouldn't.
Terrifier. No, I have no desire to. But so for me, I ran away from it where you guys all came to it. So I admire you guys for running to it and having a love for it that I have slowly grown to love now.
My latest tattoo is a slightly Cupid doll, but it's Pogo the Clown.
Oh God, no.
And so, and it says, say, a playmate, come out and play with me.
Oh, that's so cute.
From the old nursery rhyme, because that was my favorite nursery rhyme. So I added, and it's a whole like piece.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, I'll start adding my serial killer tattoo slowly, but I want to make it. And everyone's like, oh, it's so cute. I was like, look closer. And they're like, oh shit.
So another question that I have for you guys that's always been kind of in the back of my mind is, as women, when you're coming into this, when and how did you learn to just not give a shit what others had to say or think about you in the industry? Like, you know, because there's judgmental assholes everywhere. And how do you just learn to kind of get past some of that?
I don't know about everyone else, but for me, I actually had a brief stint as a cam girl for a while. And
it's awesome.
I realized that all the things that I was insecure about, because I had body dysmorphia pretty much my entire life, that all the things that I was insecure about, there were millions upon millions of people that didn't just like it, but completely fetishized it. And then I realized at that point, okay, so I had based my entire life about trying to conform to what this group likes and that group likes, when no matter what, everybody likes everything. And I don't give a fuck about their opinions, because these are the people I was worried about. This guy here, this like, I want to see your armpit. I cared about what he had to think. Oh my God, no. His opinion's worthless. And then there'll be someone going, oh my God, you're so ugly. No one wants you. Dude, there are millions of people that want me. I don't want any of you. So just, suck it. And after a while, I started just relishing and pissing them off. So I started trying to work with more and more brands and being in more and more movies, just because I knew that the mere sight of me would ruin someone's day. And it's like, if you can't even stand seeing a fat girl or a tattooed girl without just falling apart, then you are just so weak. And it amuses me. It makes me feel powerful. It's like, oh, you were happy and then you saw me. Oh no.
I joined the Marines at 17. And so very young, very little tomboy. Like, you would never have seen any of this makeup. Nothing. I was late bloomer, so flat chested until I was 25. They grew on my own. And then I went to another male-dominated field, which is being a chef. And then while I was doing that, I started working on Creepy Coffee Movie Time, the TV show in the Bay Area, and Circus of Chaos, another late-night horror variety show. And then going to conventions and, playing, you're supposed to play a part, you're like, Laroue isn't my last name, and I know some of us don't use our real last names for stalker reasons. And this one of these situations, and I'm not gonna name, but one of the gentlemen tried to turn me and another guest against each other because we were female. And, made up lies. And then I realized, I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. We're not trying to like, we're in this together. This is not a competition. We're here, for me at least, I'm here to support you. I'm here to support you. I want to know about your project so I could be like, all right, this is for everyone. You know, I'm not going to, like, other women's success is not going to make me feel bad. I want to build someone else up. You know, queens build up other queens. So when that situation happened, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm done with that. I don't need that, you know, male negativity. Let's just keep working on this, you know, building women up, building each other up. We're in it's not a male dominated field anymore, at least to me. You know, we have great writers, we have great producers, we have great everything that are women. And plus, who needs men? So
Exactly.
I don't.
Who made coffee? I mean, like, I need someone to bring it. I can't go myself. I'm like a fine Greek statue. I could crumble at any moment. I need the coffee brought to me. Sorry, I'm terrible. I'm the worst. Wow, giving a fuck. I was writing this one web series, and the guy that hired me, he was directing it. He kept messing it up and needed help. And I'm not a director. I literally write shit analog first. I still use a pen. So I stepped in. I just got it directed and shot for him, but he had lagged so much, I had to keep shit moving. Like, I went to the, Black theater doesn't rest. One of my first directors was Coleman Domingo when I was an actor, and he like, you get shit done. So yeah. I got it. I sat on the editor. I got the right thing out. All the actors were upset because they didn't like a woman telling them what to do. They were used to just kind of, and they were rude to me. They were dicks to me. They were all it was literally an I Hate Micah club where when we got to the screening, which was packed, one of the actors got up and said how mean I had been to the guy that hired me and how, it was wrong to work that way. Now, remember, I've seen him for male directors that pour him a new asshole. I never put people down, but I moved the action because it had to finish. So they didn't like that. So he's saying this, and everyone's looking at me like I'm going to freak out. I just crossed my legs, and I looked over at the guy that hired me. I said, "You got a problem?" And he went like this. And I said, "Then roll it." And they rolled it. It was awesome. We got a standing ovation. That guy left with a red face, and the guy that hired me bought me and my friends drinks all night. I was like, zero fucks from now on. Now, all those actors tried to somehow get me to acknowledge them or talk to them. And I'm just like, bitch, if I see you and we don't speak, I don't fuck with you. This is a Cardi B situation. You have to be a bit of a fucking bitch about it. That's when I stopped.
Just, trying to be a strong woman, and, people think they can walk over us just because we are women. And then they're like, oh,
to me saying, all right, we have to wrap this and go here. Like, I'm not calling anyone a jerk. I don't believe that. I don't think if someone's doing their job badly, telling them that in front of other people is traumatic. You just say, hey, I need this now. You can talk about it later. But they didn't like that I was like, no, move it. No, move it. I want to do it this way. No, we already did this space and go. They just didn't like that because they weren't used to dealing with that from someone who wasn't apologizing constantly. I had a time frame. That's all it ever was. Sorry.
Michelle, how about you?
Oh my God. Well, some things I'll plead the fifth on. But so I'm actually, and this isn't to correct anyone, it's just to, just inform where I'm at. I'm non-binary, gender fluid, so he, she, they all apply. So, the only time it could be considered a misgender is if like somebody's being a jerk about it, and then I'm like, you refer to me as they,
Yeah.
Because
Right.
yeah, it's a respect thing. But I've had people, try to, I guess, like behave as obstacles. Some people view other filmmakers as competition, and it's sad because we should be lifting each other up, but we should also practice accountability. You know what I mean? Accountability is important. Um, and I mean, overall, I think a lot of us wear multiple hats, and because we either are woman or we translate to others as woman or femmes, it's we have a lot of people telling us not to wear too many hats.
Correct.
I've had that. I also do special effects, digital special effects as well as practical. I'm also a writer, and I also do compose music and everything. And I've had mostly men take me aside and be like, "Oh, Michelle, you have too many hats and you can't do this, blah, blah, blah." Well, I mean, I'm an independent filmmaker. I'm lucky if I see a budget of $5,000 to make my movie, which means instead of lowballing someone who deserves to be paid more, I can do it myself, and I don't have to exploit anyone's time,
Yes.
and it might take a little bit more work. I might be run ragged when I'm done, but I did it and it's wrapped. So, if we know we can do it and we want to do it, there shouldn't be any kind of naysaying. We're here making sandcastles out of mud, and oh, am I allowed to say curse words?
Say whatever you want.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, like anyone who says we cannot, because we can do whatever we want, when we want, how we want to do it.
And I will say it's very admirable for all of you to wear the different hats that you wear and be able to be in different aspects of everything so that you can bring your own projects together and have an understanding of what it is for those other artists that do those specific types of things. I mean, it's not easy. I've been here with Jimmy to make movies, even running The Haunt. Sometimes you have to figure out how to make that effect work, or you have to figure out how it's going to come down. And I've learned things that I never thought I would ever learn how to do. Mask making, working on special effects makeup. Now, granted, I'm nowhere near great yet, but it's a work in progress. And that is what it is. Sometimes you have to learn through mistakes and go through it. So definitely hats off to all of you for having all those multi-talented creativeness that you have in you that you can let out and have an outlet for that you've created yourself.
Like I worked a con last weekend because I live in Vegas. I'm currently in Tracy, my best friend, baby shower, so that's why you see all the baby showers. But I'm in my last 3 weeks of med school, so trying to do the convention, trying to do that, and then trying to find time to do homework. But as you mentioned before about the different hats we have on, but also going with that and back to having, how to put it, people take advantage of us. So, I love working, and I work very hard in every single thing I do. But then, you realize that sometimes people are like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna take advantage of that." So I'm working my butt off. And then when it comes down to, and then it doesn't happen, right? And then, you're the difficult person for standing up for yourself.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I was here for 3 days, totaling over 24 hours. Fuck you, pay me. You know what I mean? But also when it comes to like certain projects, like with my friends, I'm like, yeah, I got you. What do you want? I will help you. I will do whatever you need, So there's multiple ways of doing that. When it's work, it's work. When it's, like if any of you ask, hey, we need an extra. All right, cool. Where do you want me? You know what I mean? Like, I will be there to help you. And I've done a lot of projects for free. And, and I've donated a lot of money to my friends' projects because, they deserve it. So it's a weird, like, trying to navigate both of those worlds, like I want to make money because I'm poor, but I also want to help my friends out as well. So I do a little bit of both, but unfortunately, like I had to go to the hospital this week to get some stitches. And so I keep having to go down and like wipe the stitches. So excuse me for that. I'm like,
It's just a horror crowd. We're fine with it.
I know.
I'm like, what? You're not showing blood? Darn.
I asked to film it. I asked to film it, and the VA was like, we're not allowed to. And he's like, do you want to turn away? I was like, why? And he's like, well, because most people don't like
malpractice coverage.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when they were like sticking the needles in, he goes, oh, you can turn away now, like if you're squirmish. I was like, no, I want to watch it. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, this is cool to me. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
So we all have a bucket list, and on that bucket list, we have our big dreams and we have all of our little side projects. So in your bucket list, what is a dream person that you would like to cast? What is a brand that you would like to represent? What is your like mecca that you want to bring into your world that would just make you at peace? I know, Michelle, you had already talked about Barbara. Is there someone else that you have as well?
Yeah. So many. The biggest one is I want a movie to be sponsored by Red Bull. Red Bull, sponsor my movie. I need your money so I can afford the people that I want to cast. I want to cast The Rock in a dramatic piece. That's also a horror movie. It sounds fun to me. And let's see. I want to cast Sarah Michelle Gellar because I love her and she's so shiny. And yeah, so obviously I need a lot of money to be able to do those things.
I got $20 on it.
And actually, I don't know if Blumhouse has their quota full yet, but I would actually really love to have them take a look at one of my whips and, back me as a director on a project, because I've got some really good gory Taino pieces that I would love to get out there. And it's really fun because the Taino tribes, it's an alternate reality where we tear apart the conquistadors and everything's fine. So, it would be so much fun. And I drink a lot of Red Bull, so I have a lot of energy. And I think Red Bull, again, Red Bull, I love you. Yeah.
Sponsorship, sponsor her.
Shameless, I know.
Right?
Not at
Do
all.
it.
Not at
No,
all.
not
Shameless.
shameless at all.
You're putting into the universe what you want. It can only happen if you put it out there.
I drink so much Red Bull that so much money has gone into them, they should almost like pay me back. So,
I mean, we could always
they're
try to
very
see if we could start getting you
expensive.
sponsored with product to help give you.
That would work too because it's so expensive.
We'll start a Twitter campaign. Red
Ooh,
Bull.
ooh, what is that thing where they have the people and they do the signatures online and it's usually for like ridiculous stuff? This
Let's
is ridiculous stuff. It applies.
Let's start it. I mean,
Change, I think change.org or something.
yeah, between all of our
Petition for Red Bull.
we keep between all of our following, we can get a lot of signatures, and then they'll have to at least acknowledge it.
This person exists and their kidneys are probably butchered because of us. We should throw them a bone. You know what? I think that's a good campaign.
I'm writing it down right now to start a change.org.
I'm not even showing the logo because they're not paying us for this.
Yeah. Same thing with my drink. I'm keeping the logo away from it.
Michelle, we started a hashtag for you.
You did?
Yeah, it's scrolling at the bottom of our screen.
Yes!
I love it.
Thank you. That's so neat. That's so neat.
Change.org.
Nice.
Yay!
All right.
So what about for anybody else? What's on your bucket list, your dream bucket list? Let's put it out there.
I want to get killed by like a really big, iconic killer monster thing. Like I want to be gutted by Tony Todd as Candyman or get stabbed to death by Michael Myers. I want to be like one of the kills. I don't want to always be an extra. I just like, come on, give me like at least a moment where I'm not in the background, like I want to get killed by an icon.
Message him. He will actually. So our last con, from working all the cons over the years, I DM'd him on Instagram and I go, "How dare you? 7 years of con friendship, and I haven't gotten to see you." And he's like, "Come by my booth." So I got to come by, and he was like, "Oh,
Who?
Tony Todd."
I've been in 2 movies with him, but I was just an extra. I was in Hellfest with him and Vampire.
Oh, that's awesome. He's just so nice.
He is nice.
Such nice.
He really is.
Mine is to have a main role. Like, again,
I'll give you a main role.
There you go. I'm typecasted a lot, and
Do you want to be a princess?
Huh?
Do you want to be a princess?
I will be whatever you.
I'll make you
whatever
princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can cover up, but like also a lot of stuff, like time period pieces, you're wearing clothes. So unfortunately I have a lot of health problems that just developed. So I'm trying to get my bucket list going before things get worse. So that's one of them. But other than that, I've met a lot of my horror heroes. I went hot tubbing with Tyler Maine. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna get killed because his hair was down. And I was like, yes. But him and his wife were awesome. But yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Comika, how about for you?
I really want to write a horror movie starring Issa Rae that's like has elements of the Marie Laveau story and positions the concepts of voodoo hoodoo in the United States.
Ooh,
I like that. I like that.
I think you would do beautiful with it because Bango was amazing. Like,
Oh, thank you.
oh no, it's permanently cemented into a corner of my brain, and like now, anytime anybody says Bango, the imagery goes through my head, and I'm like, my God, I love her. So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but oh my God, the Hinterland Zoo series that she has coming out, oh, so good.
It's
Oh
messed up.
my God, you're so talented. I love you.
Oh,
I can't wait to see it. I'm ashamed that I haven't seen it yet.
I will send you a link.
Yes, please.
I mean, for me, it would be, I mean, this is pretty pinnacle for me to get to talk to all of you and have time with all of you. But just to know all of the different aspects of things that you've done and the fucks that have not been given, you know, for what everybody else thinks, and to just be yourself. You know, I had weight loss surgery, and it wasn't for the reasons to lose weight. It was I wanted a baby, and then it ended up not working out for me. And I was more comfortable in my skin then than I am now. And I've had quite a journey. And, you know, I've always, my whole life growing up, I'm 6'1". I'm a giant. Like, and I was big, and people were always like, oh my God, you need to be a plus size model. You need to be a plus size model. And I never thought that I could do it. And Lilith, seeing you do it, fuck yes. Fuck
Yeah,
yes.
Lilith is amazing.
You were around when I was younger to put that in my brain. Because
But why not now? You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
I'm working on
Still
You're
do it.
6'1". You're like an entire foot taller than me. I'm
Michelle,
only
we met at Sinister, and you just kept walking up to me and saying, "You're such a beautiful Amazon."
I
And
know. I remember.
She would do that.
And
Do it. You're
and
beautiful.
I've done a few pinup shoots, and I've been 450 pounds. I've been 130 pounds of just bag of bones, and I haven't quite found my comfortable self yet. I mean, I'm working on it. I definitely have an amazing husband who helps that in every way. I now have a beautiful 8-month-old son that we're in the process of finalizing adoption with. So, you know, I'm balancing that mom life. I was like coming in here telling my friends, I'm coming in here like suburbia mom today. Like,
That's it.
That's
but,
amazing.
you know, it's amazing to see you ladies do all of these things and just not have the fucks. And I hope that you guys know that you are inspiration for so many younger girls and women of our age as well, to just go in there and be who you are. And I can't thank you enough for that. I mean, that needs to be a full round of applause for you all, because I don't think that people understand really what the world needs in that aspect. You know what I mean? Like, we're starting to come around, and we're starting to have more body positivity out there, and we're starting to put more of that out there and respect women for who they are and what they want to be. And, you know, non-binary people in general, we're just becoming more accepting, and that's amazing to me. And for all of you, I can't thank you enough for being who you are and putting that out there for others, you know, because we need more of that in this world.
We just, for at least me, I want people to be able to accept themselves, you know, be who they are, not wait until they're later in life, you know.
And don't wait for permission.
Yeah, I'm queer, but I've always been straight passing, and so, you know, but I've never hidden it. People just assumed. So, you know, and I was like, how did you not know I was in the Marines for 8 years? Like, you know, like you know what I mean? Like, I shot guns for a living. You know what I mean? But like, I just want people to see themselves young and not wait till I'm 35 and do what they want, you know? and start younger and have the younger generation start writing, start producing, start modeling, start accepting their bodies. Because, like, I'm dealing with that right now, is being, once I was littler and then my health wise, I got bigger. But now I'm finally starting to be like, why am I mad at myself? You know what I mean? And just to have people to be able to be like, yeah, this is me unapologetically. So.
And to be able to embrace that and to explore, and also to not put a cap on. Like, to be honest, I didn't sign with a literary agent until I was over 40. So there is no time limit. Just realize now you're 40. Oh my God, I can't start writing. Yes, you can. I can't start acting. Yes, you can. Why? Because there's so many different roles out there, and it doesn't matter if you're starting now. It matters that you start.
If in doubt, watch Battlestar Galactica. There's so many hot ladies in it that are like in their 50s and 60s, and yeah. It's, you know, actually, it's, the other thing is if you go into things just completely unbridled and unhinged, and not like in, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna fuck shit up kind of way, but in, you know, just I'm gonna do this thing, it can really work out. Like, for me, one of the most memorable moments so far in my career, there have been many, I've been very fortunate, is when I was doing a panel at Sinister Creature Con. And it was like all about me and the work that I do. And that was really fancy, you know, and it's always very fancy when that happens. But Linda Blair sat in that audience, asked me questions actively, and did not leave until it was over. And when it was over, she came and shook my hand and talked to me. She probably doesn't remember me. But literally, I used to make my babysitter read me William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist. All of my babysitters from like the age of like 3 on up. And like, you know, so, and The Exorcist itself was such a great movie that like was scary, but also needed a laugh track. Linda Blair's like life, and, you know, her and Eileen Dietz are like heroes of mine. So just do it. Like, oh, I don't want to get sued by the shoe company, but do what you want to do when you want to do it.
That was a great panel, by the way. You did amazing. Like just being able to be comfortable. I know, like, for a second it took you a minute, and then it was like, I'm good. You know, and then the second you became comfortable, and it was just like bam, bam, bam. And I was like,
it took a second.
It just took only a second, but, you know, I was running around, so I got to see a good chunk of it, but it was really good to see you do that. And then again, just to be your time, you know, that was about you. You know?
So let's play a little bit off of Michelle's story. What are some of your other favorite con memories? Like, what's a favorite memory that you have from a con?
I haven't gotten to go to a con yet. When is the next con that we're all going to be at?
Come to Crypticon.
Where? When was that?
Seattle.
Okay.
Come stay with me in my hotel room. We'll party.
Hey, don't
Not like
right.
I'll show up in a loathing kind of way.
We also have a lot of fun at Sinister. Sinister always ends up being a good time too.
Amazing.
Sinister will be my next one officially.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Probably so many stories from Sinister. So I helped with that one. So I was a guest the same year you were, and then I know everyone, so I've worked with Brian and Tim, and so I was like, well, just let me help be the celebrity liaison. And so I've done stuff with Marky Ramone. And then one of the days I got to go to Aftershock, a huge concert, and hang out with Seether, Bam Majera, Edward Furlong, weirdest group of people, Andy Roy, and Queens of the Stone Age, and just go on the VIP pit. And I'm like, I don't feel good. I can't make it into work. I had to cancel my flight because I was living in Oregon at the time. Like, but just so many weird things at all cons. Something always happens that is just so fun.
Oh yeah.
I think for
Sounds
me,
awesome.
it was when Felissa Rose threw a dildo at Kane Hodder. Just no fuss given, just full on came out. She's like smacking him in the face with it, and she's like throwing it at him. And just the reaction from that is probably one of my most favorite moments from a con ever.
She is a hoot to work with. Next to, talk to, just she's loving life, and I just love her.
Jimmy says walking up to Michelle and realizing that she didn't actually spell her name with a space was jaw-dropping.
Yeah, because Facebook, that's actually my personal Facebook, and then I have a professional Facebook that I don't post anything on ever. And so like the differentiation, mostly I spelled it that way phonetically so people would phonetically pronounce my name correctly, but it has not worked. And so I've broken down and given into my middle school teacher's pattern of being like, you know that Beatles song and how they say the name? Well, that's what I was named after. So just go, Michelle, and then you have yeah.
There we go.
I don't know why they named me after Beatles songs, but they did.
Lilith, do you have a favorite con story? Even just a con that maybe you attended or
Gosh, I think like my favorite con I ever went to wasn't even for horror. It was actually a XXX con, but it was fun because like everything had like little penises and boobs everywhere. And it's like, oh my god, look at my lollipop. I have a lollipop of like 2 big boobies. And like one's chocolate and like one's strawberry. So it's like chocolate covered strawberry boobies. And it's like everyone was just like really body positive. And it's like, so even though I showed up wearing like a tutu and like this like kind of low cut top, afterwards I'm just like, cool, I can just take this off as long as I have okay, what's up everyone? It was really fun though, because it was like the first time I was in a public setting actually showing my body instead of like hiding it, which for me, you know, that was a big thing. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm just wearing pasties and a tutu, walking around, you know, like 800 people. This is totally normal.
Yes, that's awesome though. It's so freeing, I bet.
Yeah, that was like my favorite because I also like made a lot of friends there that day, and it's
Would
really
imagine.
just, like I thought that like, well, no way they're actually being nice to me, you know. It's like it's probably, you know, like that fake nice. But now it's like I write anything like on Twitter, and like one of them is, her name is Nico Jordan. She's just amazing sweetheart. She pops up and she's just like, yeah, you go girl. I'm just like, oh my god, I love you, Nico. And like my friend Ashley Fires and Maya Sinister is like, it's so cool. It's like, wow, I'm friends with like all these like famous porn stars. But
that's so
they
awesome.
are so community based. Like I was trying to get into an apartment, and Ashley, she's like, oh girl, I'll hook you up, and she got me like $3,000 for my deposit. And I was like, oh my god. It's like, thank you so much. it was just amazing. And Maya, you know, she's always been there for me, and I'm there for her. And it's like, oh my God, family, naked family with pretty boobies.
Which is always the best.
Right.
So, with the evolution of inclusion of anybody in any situation really seems to be headed in a good direction. Do you think that this is going to be reflected in horror more than it has been?
I think so. I noticed that, oh my God, my brain just died. In Bloodfest, it was one of the movies I was in. They had oh my God, I can't remember his name. The larger guy from Spider-Man. He was in the movie, and he had a forwarding role, you know, and it wasn't just like some weird background character that instantly was killed. You know, they actually gave him dialogue and a good story, and it's like, okay, you know, you got a fat man, good step. Get a fat woman in the front, you know, because I noticed that it's more socially acceptable for fat men. It's always been more socially acceptable for fat men. Fat women, people will be like, oh, Amy Schumer's fat. She's a size 8. That's not fat. She has a chubby face. There is a difference. And
She's only a size 8.
She's a size 8. I know. But people are like, oh my God, body positivity. It's like, she's an 8. The average woman right now, currently, according to statistics in the U.S., is an 18.
It's a size 14, isn't it?
No, 18. 14 was back in 95, and then it became a size 16 in early 2000s. Now it's an 18. So
wow.
like, she is so much smaller than average, but everyone was trying to act like, oh my God, she's so brave to do this, so brave to do that. Why are you brave for simply existing? So I would like to see, you know,
hate
more
inspiration porn.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But it was a step, though, to see, you know, that actor have a role, have a big role in the movie. It's just I wish that they would have more fat actresses in horror.
Yeah, I agree.
I know,
like actually fat, not like, oh yeah, she's fat because your face is squishy.
Yeah.
I know.
Are we starting another hashtag?
I know for me, for a while there, it was because I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican, okay? And so usually when I would get offered roles, even from people in the industry that I actually don't associate with anymore, who were the nice, you know, the nice people way over me. Anytime they had something to offer me, it was to play a junkie or prostitute. Now, there is nothing wrong. Drug addicts need love. I support sex workers 150,000 fucking %. But there is such thing as being typecast because of your ethnicity. Okay? And it was literally, that was what I would get offered. So I was kind of like, well, you know, what do I do here? Do I make a vanity project of my own and put myself into it and just like do it, you know, without the typecasting, you know, actually play a role where I'm not like, oh, papi, what do you want? Because they're all like, can you be more Latin? Which is, you know, that's fun.
You're like, hey, thanks.
Yeah, right? And so, like, you know, and then like after that and everything, I've watched, and just in the last 5 years, it has changed so much. I remember lamenting, like, I was like, when am I going to get like a really nice romance role or a comedy role or, you know, something where I'm not playing something for essentially a Eurocentric eye to kind of look down upon, you know, like, oh yeah, well, that's just how they are. And that has been what has been happening more and more. And I don't think it's because of my work. I don't. I think it's society.
I would like a romance where, you know, where it's a heavily tattooed woman, where it's not a Rock of Love type of scenario. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, my last boyfriends had no tattoo. because it's not a fetish to me. I just happen to like tattoos, you know? And so the guys that I've dated in the past, it's always been, you know, I want to be with you, but I don't want to date you. And I'm like, where's my freaking Chris Evans? And, you know, my really drop dead gorgeous man or woman where it's not, I'm a fetish.
Mhm.
Like, I'd like that, please. Because I just happen to really like art, but on me. You know?
But yeah, I
Well,
think that
it's,
artists respond to reality. They respond to an accurate representation of humanity. And when we look at programming and we see that we are putting in almost all of the roles, people that represent 5% of the population, how realistic are we able to suspend our disbelief? Actually casting real humans and real human actors, actually painting that more not diverse bullshit, but just how the fucking planet looks makes your work better, because then I suspend my disbelief more. I believe it. I'm involved. That's what I think that when people go, oh, I have to include these people now. It's like, bitch, you've been excluding them. Just cut that shit out. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's not that hard. Stop acting like it's hard. It ain't. It just isn't.
One thing I've noticed, when people do actually start to include people that normally weren't included,
Yeah.
they either completely overly sexualize them or erase their sexuality altogether.
Correct.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we have a fat person. We're either going to just make her like into a raging whore. Nothing wrong with whores.
Yeah.
Whore positive. But they're either like, we're going to make her like, so she's super, super like, I want everyone, balls in my face. Or we're going to be like, okay, we're going to get this girl and we're going to have it so like, we're just going to skip right past. She's like a great grandmother. She would never even look at anybody another way. No one will ever look at her another way. She's like 150. And it's like, she could be 20 years old, but it's like, oh no, we're just going to pretend she's like 150 because no one's going to look at her. And it's like, why can't she, why does she have to be, you know, like the side character or the friend of the friend, you know, that's just there to provide emotional support? If that person is more realistic and they don't give actual stories to them, they kind of just, oh, they're there just to make other people happy. And it's like, well, if you really want to make other people happy, give them depth. Give them character. Don't just make them there so that, you know, they can smile and you can put them on a poster somewhere and go, hey, look, we hired somebody with tattoos. Hey, look, we hired someone without a leg. Hey, look, we hired somebody, you know, that has like a cleft lip. You know, it's like, why not just treat them like you would all the other actors and actresses that you are actually investing in?
Just let them be good at their job, and then, you know, what they look like.
If we're gonna keep going, I realize I have the wrong power cord. I'm gonna have to run in the other room and get the right one.
That's fine.
Is ours till 2? Because I thought it was only till 1.
We have what, like half an hour, Jimmy?
We have like 5 more minutes.
Oh, like 5 more minutes, you guys.
Okay. Because I was like, are we a little over?
So I know that like a conversation that I would have with my mom is you would see all these movies with plus size women come out when I was growing up, and it would be something that someone I would want to look up to, but they always played the same role. It's either the plus size woman that's pushed aside and she doesn't get any, you know, any recognition or anything like that, or she's the plus size woman who hits her head and all of a sudden she thinks she's skinny and she has all the confidence in the world, but it fades. And then she learns to love herself, but she's never just herself. She's never just living this world. And for everybody, for inclusion in general, you know, I mean, The Good Doctor as a television show outside of horror, I mean, look at what they've done with that show. That show has come around so amazingly as far as, you know, putting into spotlight that just because he has he has his own personality and quirks or disabilities or whatever, he can still do the job. He's still capable. It may be a little bit longer, or it may go the long route or the short route because of how he works it out, but they're still able to do it because that's who they are. And I think that there needs to be definitely a lot more of that. And like Comika said, you have to be yourself. Like, fuck being the stereotype and being anything but that. We need people being people. You don't walk down the street and see these people that you see in TV shows with these lives, you know what I mean, that have this creative manifesto. Everybody goes through bullshit. I mean, we're all sitting here. Someone has a health issue. Someone has a loved one that's dying. Someone has a child in the background crying. It's life. Like, it's what it is. Why would we not portray that for what it is?
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right,
You
ladies,
get
do you
better.
guys want to put out any of your last projects that you have coming up or anything so that we can push that out there for everybody and get this wrapped up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start.
Oh, me? How about you? Me?
No, you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go for it, Michelle. Also throw in where they can find you too, so that they can look up your stuff.
Oh, okay. So as far as so my movie O Unilateralis is actually going to be released via distribution soon. I know I've announced that before, but this time it's actually, I'm gonna follow through with it completely. The proceeds will still be going toward charity to benefit survivors of domestic violence. It will also be screening this year at CryptCon Seattle and Dead Convention or DeadCon at Fort Wayne, Indiana. There are others as well, but they're still trying to figure out their schedule, so they're not going to get mentioned.
It sounds awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Also, where can you find me? I'm somewhere, man. I'm always somewhere. Just, I don't know. Google Michelle Nessk without the space, and you should find me. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, the short from Hinterland Zoo and then my limited web series, The Gray Area, are both on a platform called Paraflix with 2 X's. That's about paranormal, spooky content. I have another micro short series that's going to be on an app called Rizzle, and that series is called The Interview. It's very vampire-y and fun and weird. So those are kind of my, where you can find some of my little weird, insane bits. And other than that, I have a few different films that I'm in negotiations with, and as things firm up, I will let you know.
Lilith?
For me, Fridays starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I watch horror movies with people on the Rave app. Pick a different movie every week and just, I don't know, kind of let people be able to see movies that they might not have been able to see before and give them company while they're watching it, so that if it's like a good movie, we can be all like, oh, wow, just not talk that much, just be, this is awesome. But if it's like really corny, be like, why did that zombie beaver bite that person's butt? Does the butt taste nutty? So, just kind of get in there with it.
For me, I'm just trying to get through these 3 weeks of graduating med school. So health information management. And other than that, because it's been 2 years of working my butt off for that, someone hire me.
You can do it. I believe in you.
All right, just hire me for a project.
Just hire all of us.
I've been working.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lilith, you should watch our movies.
Homework. I've been doing nothing but that for the last 2 years. So that's about it right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for coming out and sitting down with me and having a chat and, making the world a better place with just being who you are. And again, I'll say it every time, with no fucks given. I mean, it's the best part. Your guys' work is amazing, but I think that the no fucks given is the best part because it's going to show who you are and show the world that, you know, you're out there to kick ass and take names and you're doing it. So thank you again for your time, and stay tuned for the next podcast or for the next live on Halfway to Halloween. You guys have a wonderful day.